because this is going to be very interesting. And I think you guys are actually going to learn quite a bit from this. So let's take a look at this, because one thing I've noticed, a lot of you guys, even in the Orthodox camp, especially amongst newer people, the inquirers, have absolutely zero discernment when it comes to online charlatans and liars. You have zero discernment when it comes to this stuff. So I'm going to show you how to point out little sleight of hand tricks of the speech so that you can recognize this in the future, because I can't do all your homework for you in each of these instances. But let's find this out real quick. All right, so this guy's channel is what? Burning Bush. All right, I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to play my short first, and then we'll go into his response video here, because I don't know how a lot of you guys didn't realize what he did here. All right, let's take a look at this. I'm going to mute this, though, because it's got copyright music, and that will copyright strike me. So don't be confused. Ethiopian Orthodox are not Orthodox. Okay, I learned something new recently about Ethiopian Orthodox Church. This is a Debtera, okay? Plays them singing. Literally, I say in this video that they sing liturgically. They do ABC 1, 2, 3. Notice one of Dcn Mihret's critiques was, how could he criticize these people? They are singing beautiful music to God. How could he criticize them? Yeah, duh. They're singing liturgically. That's part of the critique, is that they're a part of the structure here. You're using them to sing liturgically. But then on the side, occasionally there are these other practices that they do, especially in Ethiopia. All right, so let's continue on. I'm going to show you one thing real quick. Because what is the actual claim? For those of you that watched the short, what is the actual claim? Is the claim, I saw a guy comment, oh, but they're not doing witchcraft during the liturgy. No, duh. I would expect you guys to be a little smarter than that. Oh, they're not doing witchcraft during the liturgy. No freaking duh. Show me in the short where I ever said that. Hilarious. All right. So while not ordained clergy, they perform several functions in the Ethiopian church, such as singing, chanting, or liturgical dance. Whoa! Oh my goodness. Did you notice what I said there? They're involved in the liturgy. Whoa! Oh, how could you critique them? They are singing beautiful music. They're singing praises to you, evil cleave. You are critiquing us. And they are singing in the church. Notice this. Oh, this little symbol is up there. On literally the third slide, some of the functions are not officially sanctioned, but take place anyway. Dude, some of you guys are reacting like you have no comprehension skills whatsoever. In the actual video, it says this: some of the functions are not officially sanctioned, but take place anyway. The claim of this video is not that the Ethiopian Orthodox Church is sending these guys out to go do witchcraft. That is not the claim. You're not going to find one of their bishops saying, oh, yes, I sent this guy to go and pour snakes on this woman, and I thought this was a very good idea. That's not what you're going to see. You're not going to see some bishop going out there and saying, wonderful, we have this built into the church. If you would like the cockroach healing, you can come to the fellowship hall at 12 noon. After our coffee hour, we will cover you in cockroaches and heal you. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying while this is not officially sanctioned, this takes place anyway. This shows you some of the sleight of hand in his response video, because he's going to misrepresent what I say and present it as if I am saying this is the official teaching of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which it is not. This actually touches base on something that we discussed yesterday with Mina Farag. There is a culture of ambiguity within the non-Chalcedonian churches. There is a culture of ambiguity where they will say some things and then in practice do the complete opposite. And I'm going to show you this because there are peer-reviewed studies of groups studying these groups that show that these practices happen all the time. And I'm going to show that to you, and it's going to blow your mind. So let's continue on. So notice this here. My claim for you people that are being dishonest out there is not that the church says, hey, this is good, go ahead and do witchcraft. My claim is that this happens anyway, as it literally says in the short. All right, so check this out. Some are reputed to study black magic, invoking demons, alongside their more benevolent official learning. Notice official learning, meaning that there is a difference between the two. And yes, I have the audio off because it's got copyright music in it. Some Debteras traditionally manufacture amulets that are meant to protect the wearer from evil spirits. These amulets are made of silver, yada, yada, yada. Now, one thing to note, in the 15th century, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church condemned magic talismans, but they permitted these to be continued in use. Okay, so that's another distinction there. It doesn't mean they don't still have them. They can put something down on paper and the practice still occur. All right, we go over exorcisms, how they use the skin of a sacrificed goat and then ritually purify themselves with the blood. Okay. Sorry, it's kind of annoying that, oh my goodness. Anyway, you get the point. So I just scrolled past. I was trying to see if I could go down and fast forward this a bit. Maybe I can do that on Instagram. Maybe that'll be easier. So you get the point, though. So a couple of different things. The main thing that I wanted to highlight there was the initial claim was not that the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, quote unquote Orthodox Church, officially says, come to our coffee hour on after liturgy on Sunday. We're going to be doing Debtera exorcisms, and we can cast out your demon of obesity. That is not what happens. Okay, so ridiculous. All right, hold on. Let me share this real quick. I'm gonna see if I can get to the end of this stream or the end of this short here. Will it allow me to fast forward? No. Oh my goodness, dude. Each of these shorts things are so annoying. All right. Anyway, you get the point. So we go into this stuff. So I'm going to show to you the response from this guy here. And I'm going to show you how he conflates different things because they do this quite often. And it needs to be called out because it is dishonest. What is this? What is this channel name? The Burning Bush. Okay, here you go. All right, so let's look at this. One thing that's interesting is he actually concedes my point in this video, and he doesn't even realize that he concedes my point.
I learned something.
Fast forward because it's got copyright music. Okay.
What's up, guys? Just wanted to come on here to do a little bit of a fact checking and set the record straight. So the term Debtera is a Ethiopian.
So he's gonna go into the meaning of the actual word and try to conflate this as if it isn't an actual office, which is not true.
Very good word, and it simply means tent, and it's a reference to people who are part of the priestly ministry and who serve in the priestly tent, the tabernacle tent, or in the kingly tent, the tent of the king.
Okay, so they serve liturgically,
and so their job mainly is to help with the hymnody of the church, which was established for us by the 6th century Saint Yari the Aksumite.
Okay, so as I stated in the short, they assist in the liturgy, they sing, they assist with the hymns. So exactly what I have said so far. People were leaving comments saying, "Oh, they don't even participate in the liturgy. Oh, they don't even sing in the church. They're not even a part of the church." People don't understand this stuff. They just make stuff up when they come and they spam your comments.
So that's what their job is. Debtera is not anything else but a reference to this. Now,
it's not anything else but a reference to this. Yet all these other practices do occur. Not that they are officially sanctioned by the church. As the short literally said, it wasn't.
Now, is it true that there are a minority of them which have engaged in certain acts of sorcery and witchcraft? This is true.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Is it true that there are those of them? He says minority. I'm going to show how that's not true. Is it true that there is a minority of them that engage in witchcraft? Yes. Yes, that is true. Okay, great. So where's the response video? This is literally what I said in my short. This is literally what I said in my short. It's not officially condoned by the church, but these people do engage in witchcraft. And this is put out as some kind of refutation to my video. This is clown world. And you people eat it up. This is why I'm saying you guys have to have some level of discernment. You can't just turn your brain off and see, oh, somebody made a response, therefore it's been debunked. This is the exact claim I made in my short. This is ridiculous. Let me go back just to play that one more time for you guys.
Deptera is not anything else but a reference to this. Now, is it true that there are a minority of them which have engaged in certain acts of sorcery and witchcraft? This is true.
This is true. This is true. There are those of them in the Deptera that engage in sorcery and witchcraft. This is what I said. You people need to learn how to comprehend. This isn't that complicated. This is the claim that was made. Go look at my video here. I'm going to go back real quick. Go look at my video here. And we're going to look at the slide in which I literally say that this isn't officially condoned by the church, yet it occurs anyway. But notice he's going to accuse me of lying. And since he speaks with a very soft voice, like some other people, like Gospel Simplicity, like Austin, you guys eat it up and you're just like, oh, of course, since he speaks so softly and so sweetly, my little sweetie pie would never try to deceive me. My little non-Chalcedonian sweetie pie would never deceive me in any way. It's impossible. I saw him. He was bullied by Cliff Connectley. My little sweetie would never mislead me. Some of these functions are not officially sanctioned, but take place anyway. Dude, come on, guys. All right, back to this again.
Is not anything else but a reference to this. Now, is it true that there are a minority of them which have engaged in certain acts of sorcery and witchcraft? This is true, but it's been condemned by the church since the very beginning. Canon 36.
So then he goes into ancient canons and says, yes, these have been condemned by the early church. He's going to go into Laodicea, and he's going to go into other early church canons. Of course, witchcraft is condemned by the early church. No duh. What do you think I'm saying? Because otherwise I would be saying, actually, it's okay for them to do witchcraft. They think it's okay based off of canon law. That is not the argument. The early church very clearly condemns witchcraft. The argument is this is actually occurring now, which it is, which you've already conceded.
The Council of Laodicea, the canons of St. Basil condemn it. And you also see in Phatanegus, which is the Ethiopic canon law, in chapter 46, section 3, it explains that anyone who practices witchcraft is to be expelled from the church. And also in the Ethiopic Empire during imperial rule, there were corporal punishments, which were also designed for those who engage in any form of sorcery and witchcraft.
There are also canons that talk about any priest that owns a business is to be excommunicated or defrocked. There are also canons that says that any priest that prays with a heretic is to be excommunicated or defrocked. There are also canons that says that any priest that has familiar intercourse with Jews is to be excommunicated and defrocked. Okay, so we can go through canons all day. What I'm saying is the current practice of some of these Depteras is that they are engaged in witchcraft. I never said your church officially condones it, but this is the way that he's attempting to frame it.
And we even have modern day bishops like our general secretary who issued statements condemning it in any way, shape, or form. So the church does not allow it. And simply because there's a minority of people who have abused and used this practice does not speak for the faith of the church whatsoever. I would also want to point out here, firstly, the misinformation is insane because the picture that he referenced of the people that he called magicians were people simply singing praise to God. And
then this is where the piety signaling comes in. Yes, they are used in liturgical worship in your church. That is part of the critique. There is a group of these people that your church officially does use in liturgical worship that also are engaged in witchcraft on the side. Whether or not those side practices are accepted or condemned, well, guess what? I already addressed that in my short. I said this is not officially accepted or acknowledged by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, yet it occurs anyway. That is the critique.
They're not people that there's any evidence whatsoever have engaged in magic. Some of them I know myself. But also, it's very important, as the Lord tells us, to not speak about the little piece of wood in your brother's eye.
So now he's going to deflect, and he's going to bring up Elpidophoros writing the foreword to a Freemason's book, which I literally reported on this channel. I have reported on this exact subject on this channel multiple different times. This is not new news. In fact, I might have been one of the first because I reported on this over a year ago.
When you have a log coming out of your own eye.
And that's wrong. You shouldn't do it. No, we've spoken out against Freemasonry multiple different times on this show.
What I mean by that is witchcraft is actually a problem even in the Eastern Orthodox Church as well. For instance, the Council of Trullo has canons on witchcraft. This basically tells us that witchcraft was still a problem with the Chalcedonians after the schism. Also, even in modern day history in Greece,
witchcraft is always a problem. Okay, so he's going to bring up the evil eye thing, which is condemned by our church now, and has actively written proclamations against this in modernity. Actually, just a couple of years ago, multiple different of our patriarchs have said, you cannot use this evil eye stuff. This is wicked. Stop doing it. Yes, absolutely.
There's an article.
But the difference is this isn't our deacons. This isn't the people that we're using liturgically doing this as a side job, as a regular practice, which I'm actually going to show is just a part of the culture of ambiguity that is very prevalent within the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. There have been several peer-reviewed studies that actually go over this phenomenon, and I'm going to be reading them to you in just a moment here.
That I found that shows that it's an estimated 60% of Greek people that engage in what's called zematiasma, or the spell which people engage in to protect themselves from.
And notice what he's doing here is he's trying to deflect from the initial critique, which he already misrepresented, and say, oh, well, look, bad things happen in the Orthodox Church as well. So this is him deflecting back onto us and say, look, oh, but what about Kirill blessed a tank? Well, what about Kirill said this bad thing I don't like? Or what about so on and so forth?
The evil eye. It involves using oil and cloves and burning stuff and using syncretistic spells, and it's considered some kind of secret that can protect you from different magical attacks. And many people are familiar with the preponderance of the evil eye in Greek culture. I mean, you see it even being sold as trinkets outside of Greek churches. I would know because I've been to Greece and seen it myself. So you see that there's a big problem there as well. And it's been known that even priests themselves engage in this kind of protection from the evil eye. Not to mention the Archbishop of the Greek Orthodox Church in America, Elpidophoros, famously wrote an introduction for a 33rd degree,
which we've covered on the show over a year ago, which is wrong. And the Orthodox Church officially does condemn Masonry.
Freemason called Nikos Laos, a book called No Politique, where he praises this Freemason and says that he very much is delighted by his philosophy and his political ideology. So you have an archbishop supporting someone who is a known leader of the occult. So I would maybe encourage you to worry about those issues that are going on in your own flow.
Yeah, please don't point out our occult practices, because you've got an archbishop that wrote the foreword to a book, and you've got Greeks that are practicing evil eye that the church condemns. Okay, great. So you've got lay people doing this thing. You've got one archbishop that did something bad. This means you can't pay attention to anything that we're doing at all. Just leave us alone, please. We can only attack you, right? You can't ever critique us. We can only attack you. This is